The signal arrived on a Tuesday. Dr. Samantha Rhodes stared at her monitor in the Mauna Kea Observatory, her coffee growing cold beside her keyboard. The pattern was unlike anything she'd seen in 15 years of deep space signal analysis, a perfectly structured sequence of prime numbers, followed by what appeared to be a mathematical proof of dark matter composition. "Raj, come look at this," she called to her colleague, Dr. Rajesh Kapoor, who was dozing in his chair across the lab. "I think we just made history." Within hours, similar reports flooded in from radio telescopes across the globe. The signal wasn't just coming from one direction, it was arriving from multiple points in space, each transmission identical down to the last digit. Something intelligent was out there, and they wanted Earth's attention. The next 3 months transformed human civilization. The visitors, as they came to be known, established communication through a series of mathematical and scientific exchanges. They called themselves the Collective, a federation of spacefaring species that had achieved interstellar travel millennia ago. Their message was simple: Earth was ready to join the galactic community. World governments scrambled to prepare for first contact. The United Earth Council was formed, with representatives from every nation gathering in Geneva to coordinate humanity's response. Dr. Rhodes found herself at the center of it all, working alongside brilliant minds from around the world to decode the increasingly complex messages from the collective. But technical specialist Darius Wells wasn't convinced. Working in a classified facility beneath the New Mexico desert, he monitored deep space surveillance networks that painted a different picture. Behind the diplomatic transmissions, massive objects were moving through the outer solar system, far more than the collective had disclosed. Their energy signatures suggested weapons platforms, not peaceful exploration vessels. "Look at these readings," Darius insisted to his superior, Colonel Naomi Zhang. "They're positioning themselves around every major strategic point in the system. This isn't first contact, it's military deployment." Colonel Zhang studied the holographic display, her expression grim. "Keep monitoring, but this stays between us. If you're right, we can't tip our hand too early." Meanwhile, in Geneva, the first physical contact was approaching. The collective had announced they would send representatives to Earth, choosing a remote location in Kazakhstan for their arrival. Dr. Rhodes led the scientific delegation, her heart racing as the appointed time drew near. The ship that descended from the clouds was beautiful, a crystalline structure that seemed to bend light around itself. From it emerged beings that defied expectation, tall, ethereal creatures with iridescent skin and multiple sets of arms. Their spokesperson, who called itself emissary, moved with impossible grace. "We bring greetings from the stars," it said, its words somehow appearing directly in the minds of all present. "Your species has shown remarkable potential. We are here to guide you to your destiny." But even as the world celebrated, pieces of the puzzle were falling into place in disturbing ways. Dr. Rhodes noticed discrepancies in the collective's scientific exchanges, subtle errors that suggested they were deliberately holding back information. Darius's monitoring station detected massive energy builds-up in the outer system, masked by sophisticated cloaking technology. In her private quarters that night, Dr. Rhodes received an encrypted message from Darius: "Check the mathematical sequence from the first signal against ancient Sumerian numeric patterns." Her hands trembling, she ran the analysis. The result chilled her to the bone. Hidden within the elegant mathematics was a warning, encoded in humanity's oldest written language: "Beware the shepherds who guide sheep to slaughter." She looked out her window at the crystalline ship gleaming in the moonlight, its beauty now seeming predatory rather than elegant. Humanity had prepared for first contact, but not for what was coming. As she began composing a message to Colonel Zhang, a shadow fell across her screen. "Your species is indeed remarkable," emissary's voice echoed in her mind. "Few discover the warning so quickly." Dr. Rhodes turned slowly, facing the alien figure that had somehow entered her room without a sound. Its iridescent skin now seemed to pulse with barely contained energy. "Then why continue this charade?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. "Because, Dr. Rhodes," it replied, its form beginning to shift and change, the hunt is half the pleasure. Across the solar system, thousands of cloaked ships began powering up their weapons. The invasion had already begun. The emergency alarms across Geneva shattered the pre-dawn silence. Colonel Zhang's voice crackled through secure channels worldwide. Operation Blackout is now in effect. All military installations initiate Protocol 7. This is not a drill. The collective ships had dropped their cloaking devices simultaneously, revealing an armada that blotted out the stars. Dr. Rhodes, now in protective custody deep within a mountain facility in the Alps, watched the satellite feeds with horror. The elegant crystalline vessels had transformed into angular warships bristling with weapons. "They've been playing us from the start," technical specialist Darius Wells muttered, his fingers flying across multiple holographic displays. He had been evacuated to the same facility hours before the reveal. Every diplomatic meeting, every scientific exchange, they were mapping our defenses, studying our response patterns. Through the facility's quantum-encrypted communications, reports flooded in from around the globe. The collective had positioned their forces not just in space, but on Earth itself. Sleeper agents had infiltrated key positions in major governments, their true forms hidden by advanced biomechanical camouflage. Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka, commanding Earth's first orbital defense platform, sent the initial combat data. "Their tech isn't just advanced," she reported, her voice tight with tension. "It's adaptive. Every weapon we fire, they analyze and counter within seconds." But humanity hadn't survived millions of years of evolution by being predictable. In research centers buried beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Elaine Okonjo had been preparing for this possibility ever since the first signal arrived. Her team had been studying the one advantage humans had, their chaotic, unpredictable nature. "The collective operates on pure logic," she explained over the secure channel. "Their strategies are perfect, but rigid. They can't comprehend actions that serve no tactical purpose. And that's exactly what we're going to use against them." Operation Wild Card launched within hours. While the collective expected Earth's military forces to protect major population centers, humanity did the unthinkable. Thousands of small, civilian boats sailed out into the oceans. Hiking groups moved into the mountains. Families drove into the deserts. The planet's population began dispersing in patterns that defied strategic analysis. The collective's response was immediate and brutal. Emissary's true voice boomed across all communication channels, its earlier benevolence replaced by cold fury. "Your species' irrationality will not save you. Order will be imposed." But Dr. Rhodes had discovered something in those final moments before the deception was revealed. Within the original warning hidden in the Sumerian code was another layer of information: coordinates. They pointed to something buried deep within the moon's Shackleton crater. "Whatever's there," she told Colonel Zhang, "the collective is deliberately avoiding that sector of space. Their ships won't go near it." A stealth team led by Commander Marcus Blackwood launched under the cover of orbital chaos. While Earth's remaining military forces engaged in seemingly random attacks against the collective fleet, drawing their attention, the small ship slipped through the defensive lines. In his New Mexico bunker, Darius made a startling discovery. The collective's communications weren't just transmissions, they were part of a vast quantum network that linked their consciousness. Each ship, each soldier, was connected to a single hive mind. "That's why they're so coordinated," he realized. "But it's also why they can't understand us. They've completely surrendered individual thought." As Commander Blackwood's team approached the lunar coordinates, their instruments detected something massive beneath the crater's surface. Ancient energy readings, different from both human and collective technology, pulsed in a rhythm that seemed oddly familiar. Dr. Rhodes analyzed the pattern and gasped. "It's matching our brainwaves," she whispered. "Not the collective's quantum network, actual human consciousness." Before she could explain further, proximity alarms screamed. A collective dreadnought had broken formation, turning its attention to the moon. They had discovered Blackwood's mission. Whatever's down there, Colonel Zhang said, they're willing to break their perfect strategy to stop us from reaching it. Keep that ship busy. She turned to Dr. Okonjo. Launch the next phase. Let's show them just how irrational humans can be. As nuclear detonations created a curtain of electromagnetic chaos around the moon, Commander Blackwood's team began their descent into the crater. The ancient structure beckoned below, its secrets waiting to be unleashed. The true war for Earth was about to begin. Commander Blackwood's team breached the lunar structure as Earth burned above them. The ancient facility stretched for kilometers beneath the crater's surface, its architecture defying known physics. Crystalline corridors pulsed with a bioorganic light that responded to human presence, brightening as they passed. These markings, Dr. Rhodes observed through their neural link, they're not just decorative. They're mathematical expressions of consciousness itself. From her alpine bunker, she studied the feed from their helmet cameras. This place wasn't built by aliens, it was built by humans. Or rather, what we were before. The revelation shook the Resistance leadership. Evidence suggested an advanced human civilization had achieved spacefaring capability millennia ago, only to deliberately regress, leaving behind this facility as a failsafe. But why? Lieutenant Tanaka's voice cut through their wonder. Whatever answers you're looking for, find them fast. The collective's changing tactics. Above Earth, the invading fleet had begun systematic atmospheric manipulation. They're trying to terraform us out of existence. In the New Mexico bunker, Darius detected a new pattern in the collective's quantum network. They're scared, he realized. For the first time in their history, they can't predict their opponent's next move. Our randomness is making them desperate. Dr. Okonjo's chaotic resistance strategy had worked better than anticipated. Millions of humans acting independently, without central coordination, had created an impossible tactical scenario for the collective's hive mind. But the price was high. Major cities lay in ruins, and the death toll mounted hourly. Deep in the lunar facility, Commander Blackwood's team discovered a central chamber. At its heart stood a device that seemed to phase between dimensions, its surface covered in flowing symbols that matched human neural patterns. It's a key, Dr. Rhodes breathed, studying the data. Not to a weapon, to ourselves. The ancient humans had discovered something the collective had spent millennia trying to prevent, a way to access higher dimensional consciousness while maintaining individuality. The quantum network that made the collective so powerful was a pale imitation of human potential. That's why they attacked now, Colonel Zhang realized. They detected that we were on the verge of rediscovering this naturally. They're not here to conquer us, they're here to stop us from evolving. But the collective had anticipated this discovery. As Commander Blackwood's team began activating the device, massive gravitational weapons targeted the moon's surface. The entire lunar base began to shake. They'll crack the moon in half to stop this, Lieutenant Tanaka warned. The debris alone would destroy Earth. Dr. Okonjo proposed an insane plan. We need to link the device to Earth's geomagnetic field. Every human on the planet could potentially connect to it through their own neural activity. She paused. But forcing evolution on that scale, we don't know what will become. The choice was made for them as the collective's weapons began tearing through the moon's crust. Commander Blackwood initiated the device's activation sequence. Dr. Rhodes, working with Darius, started broadcasting the connection frequency through Earth's remaining communication networks. Everyone who receives this, her message went out, focus on the signal. Don't fight it. Let your mind open to the pattern. What we're about to experience, it's what we were always meant to become. The collective's vast consciousness pressed against Earth, trying to disrupt the growing human neural network. But they had made a crucial mistake. In their billion-year existence, they had forgotten what it meant to dream. As the lunar device reached full power, humanity began to change. Not physically, but mentally. Individual consciousness expanded while remaining distinct, creating a symphony of thoughts and possibilities that overwhelmed the collective's rigid unity. In orbit, Lieutenant Tanaka witnessed the first effects. Human brainwave activity was beginning to affect quantum fields around their ships. Reality itself seemed to bend around human thought. But the transformation was far from complete. The collective launched their final assault, determined to end humanity before the change could take hold. As the moon cracked and Earth's atmosphere burned, the question remained, would humanity's potential be realized before their extinction? The answer lay in the next few moments, as billions of individual minds reached toward a new understanding of existence itself. Reality rippled across the solar system. The human consciousness network exploded outward from Earth, each mind a unique note in a vast cosmic symphony. Lieutenant Tanaka, still commanding her orbital platform, watched in awe as her thoughts began manifesting as visible quantum distortions around her ship. We're not just accessing higher dimensions, Dr. Rhodes realized, her consciousness now spanning multiple planes of existence. We're creating new ones. The collective reacted with uncharacteristic panic. Their fleet consolidated into attack formations, launching gravitational weapons that threatened to tear apart the fabric of spacetime. The moon continued to fracture, its pieces held together only by the strange energies emanating from the ancient device. Commander Blackwood, still in the lunar facility, made a startling discovery. The device isn't powering our transformation, he transmitted. It's just a catalyst. The power is coming from us, it always has been. In New Mexico, Darius watched the collective's quantum network fracturing under the strain of human consciousness. Their unity is breaking down. They can't maintain their hive mind in the face of our complexity. But the collective had one final weapon. From the depths of their fleet emerged a massive vessel, its surface crawling with dark energy manifestations. Dr. Okonjo's instruments detected its purpose with horror. It's a consciousness nullifier, she warned. Designed to erase all forms of sentient thought within its range. They're planning to lobotomize the entire solar system. The ship began powering up, dark energy tendrils reaching toward Earth. But humanity's transformation had progressed too far to be stopped completely. As billions of minds touched higher dimensions, they began to understand the true nature of reality, and how to manipulate it. Colonel Zhang coordinated the response. Everyone focus. Not on fighting, on creating. Show them what human imagination can do. Across Earth, humans began shaping reality through pure thought. Children imagined shields of rainbow light that somehow deflected quantum weapons. Artists reshaped gravitational fields into beautiful patterns that dispersed attack formations. Scientists conceptualized new laws of physics that simply routed around the collective's technology. The nullifier ship fired its weapon. A wave of absolute darkness swept toward Earth, devouring consciousness in its path. But it met something unprecedented, human dreams made real. Lieutenant Tanaka led the space-based defense, her consciousness merging with her ship. We don't need weapons, she realized. We just need to imagine a better way. The human neural network adapted, incorporating the creativity of billions. Every story ever told, every song ever sung, every dream ever dreamed became part of humanity's defense. The nullifier beam hit this wall of pure imagination and shattered. Darius, monitoring the quantum fields, detected a change in the collective. Their shared consciousness, it's remembering something. Emotions they thought they'd engineered out eons ago. Through the higher dimensions, Dr. Rhodes touched the collective's vast mind. In their billion-year existence, they had achieved perfect unity by sacrificing the chaos of individual thought. But watching humanity's transformation stirred something long dormant, a longing for the beauty of imperfection. The ancient lunar device pulsed with new energy as humanity's transformation reached a critical point. The fractured moon became a lens, focusing the power of human consciousness across the solar system. Commander Blackwood's team realized its true purpose, not just to transform humanity, but to heal a cosmic wound. The collective isn't our enemy, Dr. Rhodes transmitted to all minds, human and alien alike. They're what happens when you choose perfect order over the beautiful chaos of life. But we can show them another way. As the nullifier ship prepared to fire again, humanity reached out not with weapons, but with an offer. Through the neural network, they shared their dreams, their hopes, their capacity for love and forgiveness. The collective, for the first time in eons, experienced the power of individual thought. The battlefield became something else, a place of transformation for both species. But the energies released threatened to tear apart the solar system itself. Everything hinged on what would happen in the next few moments, as humanity's gift of chaos met the collective's perfect order. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what would emerge from this impossible convergence. Time stood still across the solar system. In that infinite moment, humanity's gift of chaos met the collective's perfect order, and something entirely new emerged. The nullifier ship hung frozen between dimensions, its weapon neither firing nor powering down, caught in the transformation wave spreading from Earth. Through the neural network, Dr. Rhodes witnessed the impossible. The collective, they're remembering who they used to be. Before the unity, before the hive mind. They were like us once. Memories flooded through the higher dimensions. 1 billion years ago, the species that would become the collective faced the same choice humanity now confronted. Fearing the chaos of individual consciousness, they chose perfect unity. But in doing so, they lost something precious, the ability to grow, to dream, to become something more than the sum of their parts. Commander Blackwood, standing in the ancient lunar facility, understood at last. This was never about invasion or defense. It was about evolution itself. Two paths meeting at a cosmic crossroads. The device pulsed one final time, its purpose fulfilled. The fractured moon became a prism, focusing not light but consciousness itself. Through it, humanity's transformed awareness touched every corner of the solar system, carrying with it an invitation. We don't have to choose between chaos and order, Dr. Okonjo's thoughts resonated through the network. We can transcend both. Lieutenant Tanaka, her consciousness now one with her ship and the space around it, saw the collective's fleet beginning to change. The rigid geometrical forms of their vessels softened, becoming organic, alive with possibility. They're accepting the gift, she transmitted. They're choosing to remember how to dream. In New Mexico, Darius watched the quantum readings with wonder. The network, it's not breaking down. It's evolving. Becoming something that can hold both unity and individuality. The nullifier ship's dark energy dispersed, transformed by human imagination into an aurora of impossible colors that danced between dimensions. The collective's billion-year quest for perfect order dissolved in the face of a greater truth. True perfection lies in the balance between chaos and harmony. Colonel Zhang, monitoring the transformation from her bunker, felt the change spreading beyond the solar system. Other civilizations are watching. Learning. Understanding that evolution doesn't end with technological advancement. Through the higher dimensions, humanity shared their greatest gift, the ability to remain individual while being part of something greater. Each human mind became a unique note in an infinite symphony, yet retained its own melody. The collective, in turn, shared their understanding of unity, teaching humanity how to connect without losing themselves. The ancient humans who built the lunar facility had foreseen this moment. They hadn't regressed out of fear, but out of wisdom, knowing that humanity needed to reach this point through its own journey, its own choices. Dr. Rhodes touched the consciousness of an entity that had once been emissary. No longer a mere extension of the collective, it had become something new, an individual awareness within the greater unity. We remember now, it communicated. We remember what it means to be alive. The transformation wave reached Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, each planet becoming a node in a new kind of network, one that celebrated diversity rather than enforcing uniformity. The solar system itself seemed to awaken, becoming part of the grand consciousness that was neither human nor collective, but something transcendent. Commander Blackwood's team emerged from the lunar facility to witness their transformed world. The moon, no longer breaking apart, had become crystalline, its fragments held together by conscious energy, a testament to the moment everything changed. So what are we now? Lieutenant Tanaka wondered, her thoughts reaching across the transformed space. We are what we choose to be, Dr. Rhodes answered. Every moment, every day, we choose again. That's the gift of consciousness, the eternal possibility of becoming something new. The invasion that had threatened to end humanity had instead become a doorway to cosmic evolution. Earth's solar system, once a battlefield, became a beacon, showing other civilizations that the path forward lay not in perfect order or pure chaos, but in the dance between them. And in that dance, both humanity and the collective found what they had truly been seeking all along, not conquest or survival, but the endless joy of becoming.